driven mentoring. Recently, I did a survey getting ready to speak up in Idaho, where I asked people what were some of the things that got in the way of personal revelation for them. And it was interesting to see a theme of something like this. I feel like my things aren't as important as the prayers that other people are making, or I've already received answers. You know, he's already given me these blessings. It's not okay for me to ask for more. Kind of this limited mindset about Heavenly Father. And I think we have limited mindsets, right? Like if you know, 10 people are asking us for something all at the same time, we can't handle that. That's too much for our minds, but we don't need to project that onto God. He is limitless. So, so anyway, I spoke about, that was one of the things I spoke about up at Education Week in Idaho. And just yesterday, or 2 days ago, I had an experience of my own that I want to share about that. So I have, this is kind of a long-term dilemma for me that I've been trying to figure out solutions to. And I recently, you know, this situation resurfaced. I'm like, what's the solution? So I used to use a Franklin type planner, like one of these big, like, you know, this one has a purse on it and everything, and it had a, you know, a nice a shoulder strap. And I would carry around my, you know, with my calendar, and it would be my wallet and all my lists, and it was awesome. And then I moved over to Google Calendar and started being more digital. This is years ago. And I've kind of, since then, just kind of, I never felt super settled. I still really like paper. I like seeing the full picture at once, not just one little square at a time on a phone or whatever. Sometimes I use like a, you know, yellow pad to do a big to-do list, or like there's just random ways that I've been trying things out. And so 2 days ago, I just in my heaven journaling, my, you know, question, I said, Heavenly Father, what is the ideal way that would work best for me to keep track of my various task lists? And then I wrote down, here's some options, you know, and I wrote the yellow thing, and then going back to the Franklin Covey, the Franklin Planner, and all these different things. And what, and I was reading, you know, and come follow me. So I'm in like Romans chapter or whatever, 8 or something. And I was thinking, I am sure that there is not going to be a word about Franklin planners or paper planners or whatever in the New Testament. That is just not going to happen. And it didn't. But here's the cool thing. Anytime we, okay, looks like I'm still on. Okay, good. Anytime we ask Heavenly Father a question, and we write down that question and ask in prayer and then open up our scriptures, it opens up this conduit of light and truth from heaven and revelation. And so our answer can come even if the scriptures don't talk about it. So as I'm reading in Romans, Paul talking to the Romans, little ideas are coming about one of the options that I could do with my you know, this question about my papers and lists and all that. And I'm just going to show you what it was. I have this fun little planner that I picked up on clearance somewhere that I've been using for several months, and I really, really like it. But there was no way to add extra lists or forms or different things that I wanted to. And the prompting came to shrink down the forms that I like to use on a regular basis so that they will, and cut them to the same size pages, and bring them over to my local AccuColor and see if they can, you know, make little holes for the binding and put them in. And as I was studying in Romans and these thoughts were swirling, I'm like, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that. Oh my goodness. Because we have several little forms that we use, that I use for my mentoring clients or my group mentoring clients, like Power Habits, where we do certain things in the morning, certain things in the evening, just to keep our thoughts in a really great place, and our mindset and emotions, and, you know, anyway. And then a task list for whatever goal we're working on, our 30-day goal, and successes. Like, there's certain forms that I use all the time, but I didn't like having those separate from my calendar. You know, it was just kind of messy. And the idea to and then start my planner with my own declarations, which is another thing that it's really a big deal to me, using the power of words as a mentor. So I got the answer 2 days ago. Yesterday, I spent some time, condensing my forms to be just the right size for my own pages. Today, I went to the AccuColor and got it all finished, and I am in love with it. I'm like, this is like the best of both worlds. Somebody else created the planner for me, but then I get to customize it with all, extra pages for my lists and all my customized forms that I use all the time. So I share that little story with you to share that Heavenly Father is in the details of our lives. And when we have those thoughts, He doesn't care about the details of my life. That's probably from the dark side. Or if we have thoughts of He doesn't have time for the details of my life because He's busy working on big things. Well, yeah, it's easy for us to think that because our minds are limited, but He's limitless. He can answer all of our prayers at the same time. So we don't have to put those limits on God. He's amazing. So I invite you, if you have a story where God is in the details of your life lately, share it. Or if it doesn't, not lately, just a long time ago, share God being in the details. Here's what's cool. As we document and notice and express gratitude for God being in the details of our lives, we see it more and more often. And I believe it really invites Him to be more in the details of our lives. So type that in if you have an experience you'd like to share. And I invite you to really write down your questions, go to the scriptures, and write down the answers that you find, and you'll be amazed. It's called Heaven Journaling, and it's a game changer. Talk to you guys later.